The LA Kings had to have 2 points, and they got 2 points. It wasn't easy. It wasn't always pretty, but the result is all that matters now and going forward. That and more on this edition of Locked On LA Kings.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily podcast on the Los Angeles Kings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Kings fans, welcome to Locked On LA Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On LA Kings your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Before tip-off, check out the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Eddie Garcia, your host of Locked On LA Kings. I've worked in sports media for the past 30 years. Also one of the co-hosts of Locked On NHL Game Night, a nightly podcast and YouTube show that recaps the night in the NHL, and a passionate LA Kings fan for over 30 years. The Kings played Game 40 of the NHL regular season, coming off what I called a devastating loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning, where the Kings blew a late lead and lost in regulation. Kings were taking on a very tough Minnesota Wild team who came in with the third most points in the NHL, and the Kings gut out a 5-4 shootout victory. Took a look at the game stats in this one. The Kings outshot the Wild 38-28. That is very big. Power play. The Kings were 1 for 3. Minnesota was 1 for 4. So the special teams battle was even. That was big. Faceoffs were virtually identical. Minnesota won 50.8%. The Kings won 49.2%. Hits narrowly favored Minnesota 17-15. Block shots were in favor of the Wild 21-18. But of course, the stat that counts, LA 5 and Minnesota 4. My big takeaway from this game, under different circumstances, I could have watched that game and said, that was a really good, hard-fought game. Under different circumstances, I could have said, if the Kings would have only gotten a point out of it, that's okay. They played the right way. But under the current circumstances, the Kings needed and had to have 2 points. And again, this wasn't a perfect game by any stretch, but they found a way to get the job done. And some of you might disagree that this was that big of a win. After all, we aren't even at the halfway mark of the NHL season. We're on the cusp of it. I believe the win was that big. I think the Kings absolutely needed to have this after that disaster against the Lightning. They needed a hard-fought win against a good team on home ice. Now, the Kings were far from perfect. The Kings, once again, didn't show much of a killer instinct. They could not put away the Wild 4 different times. The Kings had leads 4 times, and Minnesota tied it 4 times. The Kings also had a power play in overtime where they could have ended it. They didn't. But, as I have said, right now, results are all that matter. And the Kings got 2 points. Now, if the Kings would have lost, I was ready to come on here and say, yeah, I know they battled, and yeah, I know they fought, and they played hard. They did a lot of good things, but it doesn't matter because they didn't get the 2 points they needed. I was going to say that if the Kings lost this game. They didn't. And so I have to say, even though it wasn't perfect, a lot of good things were done. But the bottom line is they needed to get 2 points and start to feel good about some of the things they've been doing lately. And the Kings did exactly what they need to do going forward when it comes to scoring goals. Attack the net for 3 periods. LA did not get outshot by Minnesota in any period in this game, and that includes overtime. They outshot Minnesota 11-5 in the first period. That was great to set the tone, get off to a good start. They had 9 shots on goal to the Wild's 8 in the second period. The shots were even at 12 apiece in the third. And in overtime, the Kings outshot the Wild 6-3. The Kings clearly were looking to throw the puck on net or towards the net, trying to get traffic in front. And typically when you do that, as the Kings saw firsthand against Tampa Bay, good things will happen. You create scoring chances. You put pressure on the other team's goalie. You make the defense work. You force faceoffs in the other team's end. And sometimes you can draw penalties. But most importantly, you get scoring opportunities and you score goals. This is the blueprint for the Kings going forward. Just as an example, the first goal of the game, the Kopitar line is out, and they're constantly attacking the net. Adrian Kempe gets a pass off the half wall in the Minnesota zone from Andre Kopitar, and he immediately shoots it on net. Saves made, rebound goes behind the net, cleared her on the boards. Joel Edmondson gets it on the boards, immediately shoots it on net. It was blocked, it goes into the corner. Alex Ferrier gets the puck behind the net. He immediately spins and puts it into the crease where Adrian Kempe is crashing. Now it goes off defenseman's skates and onto the other side. Andre Kopitar's there. He gets the puck, goes around the net, feeds it out in front to Adrian Kempe, who scores 1-0. That is what the Kings need to do all game long. Now, of course, you can't do it all game long. I'm just saying that aggressiveness, that attitude of constantly putting pucks towards the net and going to the net, that's how you win hockey games. Even a talented team like Tampa Bay, they've got amazing individual talented players that can dangle and make these amazing moves, but they know what the winning formula is. And sure, there's going to be some pretty goals here and there, be some good passing plays, but more often than not, it's about that attitude of going to the net and working hard. And that's what we need to see a lot more of going forward from the Kings. And they did a lot of that in this game. For most of the game, they did that. And that was probably the biggest reason why they ended up getting 2 points in this game. Now, the Kings did not lose the special teams battle. That was another key in this one. The Wild have a top 10 power play. The Kings came into this game second to last on the power play. And when the night was over, they were even. Each team had a power play goal. And that's a win for the Kings. If they can be even in the special teams battle, that more often than not is a win for the Kings. Great for the Kings to get a shootout win, and a shootout win for Darcy Kemper. The Kings had not won a shootout game since October the 8th, the second game of the season in Las Vegas. They were 0 for 5 in the shootout since then. Kemper personally was 0 for 6 dating back to last season. He hadn't won a shootout game this year. He didn't win a shootout game last year. His last shootout win, he wasn't with the Kings. It was March the 22nd, 2024, when he was on the Washington Capitals. So again, big to get to, also big for the Kings to finally feel pretty good about having to go to a shootout to get 2 points as well. Now, the big question is, will the Kings continue off of this game? Will they build off of this game? And that is to say, keep this kind of effort going and getting points. And I wanted to look back and see how the Kings responded so far this year in games that I would consider pretty big wins at the time anyway. So October 8th, second game of the season, they beat Vegas in a shootout on the road. Next game, they lose 3-2 to Winnipeg. October 23rd, they beat Dallas 5-4 in a shootout. Next game, they lose to Nashville. November 4th, they post a 3-0 home shutout of Winnipeg. Next game, they lose 5-2 to Florida. November 13th, 4-3 overtime win in Toronto. The Kings did follow that up with a 1-0 win in Ottawa. And December 18th, a 2-1 win in Tampa Bay. Next game, they lose 3-1 at home to Columbus. So clearly the Kings have not done a very good job of following up big wins with another big win. And they're going to have their work cut out for them to do it this time, because guess what? They play Minnesota in their next game on Monday at home. It's weird that the schedule has this way, but another challenge against a very good Minnesota team. We'll see if the Kings can at least play this similar type of game. Even if they can't get the 2, maybe they get 1, but it has to be this kind of game. And I know I said the results are all that matters. You do have to give credit to Minnesota. This is one of the top 3 teams in the NHL right now. If the Kings can get 2 points again, fantastic. But it needs to continue to be this same formula. Now, after the game, head coach Jim Hiller had the following quote as far as, can the Kings continue this forward? Can this be something that they can build on? He said, quote, "I hope it's the spark we need. I really do. I believe it is. We'll see in a couple of days from now, but we needed a game where we beat one of the top teams in the league. At Colorado, it was close. Tampa Bay, you're right there. We needed to show that we could play and beat because we showed we can play with the best teams. We needed to show we could beat them. I'm hoping that's the spark we need here to get us going in the second half. End quote. You're not the only one, Jim. You are not the only one. The Kings got a lot of contributions from a lot of different places in this win, and it was and wasn't a big night for Quentin Byfield. We'll give you the details on that next here on Locked On LA Kings, your team every day. Fridays already feel different during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel is giving fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern have become appointment viewing with NBA Happy Hour. Opening the FanDuel app during Happy Hour always brings something new, boosts, bonuses, and surprises. It's easy to check the weekly special before tip-off and make a move before the window closes. The timing's perfect, right before the games, right before the weekend starts. It adds extra energy to Friday night basketball without overthinking it. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A little basketball action, a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel, the official sports book partner of the NBA. Let us check on some of the individual performances in the Kings 5-4 shootout victory over the Minnesota Wild, and did want to check out the lineup in this one. For some reason, I didn't put the graphic in here, which is okay because it was the exact same lineup from the previous game against Tampa Bay. Trevor Moore was thought to be perhaps healthy enough to go in this one, but apparently kind of last second he decided wasn't quite feeling 100%, so they decided to keep Trevor Moore out. That meant that Joel Armia was once again on the second line, and meant that Jeff Malott was once again inserted into the lineup, playing on the fourth line. As usual, we'll start with Darcy Kemper, and I did not think this was one of Darcy's better games. I thought that 2 of the 4 goals that he allowed were stoppable. That includes the first 2 goals. The first one was a shot from the left faceoff dot against a veteran defenseman who doesn't score goals, Jake Middleton. Matter of fact, it was his first goal all season. There was no traffic. He saw it all the way. Very stoppable. Second goal, another stoppable goal on the power play, but it was not with the Wild setting it up in the zone and passing it around. It was a long pass down the ice to a player breaking in the zone, gets the shot off with a defender on him from a pretty bad angle from the left faceoff dot, near the left faceoff dot, and Kemper was just off his angle a little bit and it snuck inside the back post. I thought that was stoppable as well. Third goal was not Kemper's fault. He did move out aggressively on a shooter, but the play, there was a backdoor pass, wide open player, and that was a defensive coverage issue. That was not on him. And the fourth goal was bad luck. Shot goes off the skate of Kevin Fiala, then off the body of a Wild player and into the net. Again, another good example of good things happening when you put shots towards the net. Kemper did stop 3 of the 4 shooters he faced in the shootout, including a game-preserving save against Wild superstar Kirill Kaprizov. That allowed Brandt Clark to have a chance to score, and then after that, making the final save against Vladimir Tarasenko to win it. So while I thought Kemper did let in a couple of goals that I thought were not up to his standards, he also had some very good saves as well, including a fantastic save in overtime on a 2-on-1 that obviously kept the Kings alive. He improves to 11, 7, and 6 on the season. Also nice that the Kings could get a win in a game where Darcy Kemper was not at his top form, in my opinion anyway. Adrian Kempe scored the first goal of the game, the goal that I highlighted earlier with all the pucks going to the net and players going to the net. A great feed from Anze Kopitar. He puts it in. He's at the crease on one knee and scores the goal. He ties Kevin Fiala for the team lead in goals with 14 with that goal, and also has the team lead in points with 33. Anze Kopitar getting that great assist for the Kings' first goal. Terrific pass from Kopitar right on the stick of Kempe. That's now 1,299 career points for the Kings captain. He's 8 points away from tying, 9 points away from passing Marcel Dion to become the LA Kings all-time leading scorer. He has 15 assists and now 21 points on the season. Interesting night for Quentin Byfield. And if you just look at the box score, goal and an assist, and you're like, great. And it is great. But both of the goal and the assists were not exactly picture perfect. And look, beggars can't be choosers right now, and I get that, but I'm just saying his assist was on the power play. He throws it towards the net, which is always a good thing, and it goes off of Corey Perry and in. Don't know if he was meaning to shoot it. Don't know if he was meaning to pass it. Either way, good things happen when you put the puck towards the net. His goal was the Kings' third goal, and he didn't know that they credited him with the goal afterwards, and wasn't even sure if he agreed that he should have gotten credit for it, but he'll take it, and so will we. He was making a move towards the net, tried to put a shot on. The defender gets his stick on it, so it bounces wide of the net, but it hits the end boards and ricochets right back toward the net. It goes into the goalie's skates. Cody Ceci and Brian Dumoulin, the two defensemen on the ice for the Kings, are both at the crease. There were Wild defenders there too, obviously. It goes off something and goes into the net. And I don't think anyone could tell on multiple replays who touched it last. Was it Ceci? Was it Dumoulin? Was it neither of them? But they knew that the last person to touch it was Quentin Byfield, as far as they could confirm that, because it was his shot that was deflected. So he gets credit for the goal. Was it the most beautiful goal in the world? No, but who cares? Quentin Byfield was asked afterwards by Kings insider Zach Dooley where he thinks his game is right now. And he said, quote, honestly, you look at the stats, probably not where you want it to be. But for myself, feel like there's a lot of games left and I'm still giving the effort, just trying to check and win games. I'm starting to play again on the team's top lines and I'm starting to play against the team's top lines. And I take a lot of responsibility in that, trying to shut them down, but also being productive offensively. I think there's still a lot more to come, end quote. It was pointed out in the first part of our 2 fan feedback shows this week that it was around this time that Quentin Byfield did start to get going last year. So hopefully that can repeat itself. For now, Q has 6 goals and 17 assists for 23 points. I do have to point out that Quentin Byfield also took a couple of bad penalties in this one. One of them, he basically just tackled a Wild player. I'm not sure what he was doing on that one. And the Wild scored a power play goal immediately thereafter and tied it up at 2-2. So need to do a better job on the penalties. Corey Perry scored the Kings' second goal, doing what he does, staying around the net. He was at the side of the net. Byfield with the shot pass goes off Perry and into the net. His 9th goal of the season, his 3rd power play goal. He also has 21 points on the year. Corey Perry doing Corey Perry things. Samuel Helenius scored a big goal in this one, the Kings' 4th goal, his 1st goal of the season, his 1st point of the season. It came in the 3rd period. It gave the Kings the lead at the time. And frankly, I was shocked he was even on the ice in the 3rd period in a tied game. I was shocked that Jim Miller put him out there, but he made the most of it. Kevin Fiala made a beautiful pass to him. He carries the puck in the Minnesota zone. He stops up, hits Helenius with a perfect pass. He's wide open in a dangerous area. And to his credit, he put it home. His only shot of the game goes into the back of the net. Good for him. Only played 4 minutes and 34 seconds, but obviously that was a key goal for the LA Kings. Always great to get goals from unexpected places. And Brandt Clarke got a moment in this one. He was selected as the 3rd or the 4th shooter? I think he was the 4th shooter, if I remember correctly. And it was Fiala, Kempe, Kopitar, and then Clarke. And he scores to give the Kings the advantage in the shootout, and then Darcy Kemper made the final save to win it. I was really glad to see Jim Hiller give Brandt Clarke this opportunity. I know some people will say, oh, I can't believe Kopitar went out there. I didn't have a huge problem with that. I thought, I'd like to see Alex Laferriere get a shot at this. But anyway, I was glad to see. I've always wondered, why don't they use Brandt Clarke in the shootout? He's got great hands, and he certainly showed it on that one. So that was very, very cool that Brandt Clarke comes through in a clutch moment. He's got a little swagger. He really does. And I I said, we've been talking about possible trades and you've got to give to get. And I've always kind of felt like Brant Clark could be the guy. But I've said it before. I will say it again. I'm not trading Brant Clark under any circumstances. He's going to be a fine defensive player for many years to come. He's got a lot in the toolbox. Do not trade Brant Clark for any circumstance. Well, I won't say for any. I mean, if it was for some blockbuster trade, then yeah, okay. But he needs to be a part of the Kings' future. I'm going to say it again. The third line, Turcotte, Kuzmenko, Fiala. I was not a believer in that line. I didn't like when I saw it put out there. I was like, this is not going to work. And they continue to prove me wrong. And Kevin Fiala in particular had a very strong game. I thought all three of the guys were really active and energetic. I thought Andrei Kuzmenko looks better now than he has all season. Now, he didn't have a point. Turcotte did get an assist, as did Fiala on the Hellenius goal. But that line has got a lot of juice to it. It's got a lot of energy, and I'm surprised by it, and I hope I continue to be surprised by it. Quick check of the stats overall. The Kings get goals from Kempe, Q, Perry, and Hellenius. Assists for Byfield, Fiala, Turcotte, Kopitar, Laferriere, and Clark. Shot totals in this one. Kempe had 5. Byfield, Fiala, Perry, and Doughty all had 4. We need more of that going forward. Guys getting a lot of shots on goal. Andrei Kopitar had 4 block shots to lead the team. Alex Laferriere and Joel Armia each had 3 hits. Drew Doughty led the Kings in ice time, 24 minutes and 9 seconds. And Alex Turcotte was once again the Kings' best faceoff man. He won 9 of 14 draws, 64.3%. The LA Kings are back in a playoff spot and will pass out our 3 crowns. That's next on Locked On LA Kings, your team every day. Thank you for making Locked On LA Kings your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it to the next level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On LA Kings with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Check the link in the show notes to learn more. It feels like we haven't done this in a while. It probably wasn't that long ago, but it feels like it's been a long time. 3 crowns, not 3 stars. No, we're Kings. We pass out 3 crowns on this show. Getting a crown, Quentin Byfield with a goal and an assist. I don't care that the assist and the goal were not picture perfect. We need Q to get going, and if this helps, then great. So Quentin Byfield gets a crown. Brant Clark with the shootout game winner, I'm giving a crown to as well. And Samuel Hellenius with his first goal of the season gets a crown as well. As for the standings, let's start with the Pacific Division. And the LA Kings right now are in 5th place in the Pacific. However, they are 3 points out of first place in the division. It is wide open. Edmonton leads the division with 46 points. Vegas and Anaheim have 45. And Seattle and LA have 43. The Kings have fewer losses than the Oilers. They have as many wins as the Golden Knights. And they have played fewer games than both Edmonton and Anaheim. So it's still there. Believe it or not, the division is still there, which is pretty wacky. But let's look at the more immediate future. That's still a dream down the road as far as I'm concerned. The immediate future, or the present, I guess, is that the Kings are back in a wild card spot thanks to this 2 points. They are tied with Seattle, as I mentioned, both with 43 points, and those are your 2 wild card teams in the West right now. San Jose also has 43 points, but the Kings have played 1 fewer game, so they get the tiebreaker for the moment. They have a better points percentage. Nashville and St. Louis are both just 1 point out of the wild card, and Utah is 2 points out. So these standings could change on a nightly basis. That's another reason why the pressure is on for the Kings to continue to get points, and more often than not 2 points going forward to stay right in the thick of all of this. Saturday, the Oilers lost at home to the Flyers 5-2. The Sharks lost to the Lightning at home 7-3. Friday, the Golden Knights lost to the Blues 4-3, and the Ducks lost to the Wild 5-2. Also on Saturday, you had the Mammoth losing to the Devils 4-1. Predators beat the Flames 4-3, and the Blues down the Canadians 2-0. So again, lots going on in both the Pacific Division standings and the Western Conference wild card. And again, up next with the Kings, Monday at home, once again against the Minnesota Wild. Did want to congratulate Joel Armia. It was made official on, I think it was on Friday. He has, in fact, been officially named to the Finnish Olympic team. He joins Adrian Kempe of Team Sweden, Darcy Kemper, and Drew Doughty of Team Canada as the 4 Olympians for the LA Kings. For Kemper, Kempe, and Armia, it's all their first time in the Olympics. For Doughty, it'll be his third time. Winter Olympics will be getting underway in about a month in Italy. So congratulations to those guys. I did want to point something out, and he is a friend of the show, but watching the telecast of the Kings Wild game, I thought Jim Fox was awesome. And maybe I'm, not giving you any breaking news on that, but I thought he had a great game. I thought some of the examples he used to show points he was trying to make, some of the explanation he had on things, both positively and negatively. He is a underrated, I think, hockey analyst, and I thought he had a great game, and he needs to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Legitimately, he deserves to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. There are a lot of other guys that are in that I don't think have been doing it as long or as well as Jim Fox, and I don't know that I've ever heard anyone really talk about that before, but hopefully before it's all said and done, it happens. And I don't know how much longer he's going to do it. I still think he's got his fastball. I still think he does a great job. He's been on our show many times. I did ask him one time if he had an exit strategy. He said he did, and he left it at that. He's seen Bob Miller retire. He's seen Nick Nixon retire. I think it's on his mind at some point. He said, like I said, he has an exit strategy. What that is, I don't know. But he still, I think, is fantastic. And I just watching that game, I thought, man, he's doing a great job on this broadcast. Just wanted to throw that out there. He deserves to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame one day. All right, for you everydayers, those of you listen and watch Locked On LA Kings every day, coming up on our next show, it is part 2 of our weekly fan feedback show. The email address, if you want to get an email in for any reason, lockedoneddie@gmail.com, EDDIE. And you're always welcome to post your thoughts on each and every show. If you're watching on YouTube in the comments section, we'd love for you to stay connected with the show on social media, X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We are at Locked On LA Kings. Thanks for tuning in today to Locked On LA Kings. Make sure you subscribe and follow so you get the latest episodes. And did Locked On LA Kings make your Spotify Wrapped? Prove it on social media, and you can secure a free month of our brand new Everydayers Club. Just tag our national Locked On Podcast Network account on any social platform. We'll drop you a code. Be one of the first to join the Everydayers Club and get your favorite show ad-free and exclusive access to the members-only Discord channel. I'm Eddie Garcia. Thank you for listening and watching Locked On LA Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you next time. And as always, go Kings, go.